Unbelievable, Panthers Nation. We finally made a massive move to fix our biggest defensive nightmare. But is this huge investment actually worth the gamble? We are talking about a major signing that just shook up our entire roster, bringing in a top-tier pass rusher to finally bring the heat on opposing quarterbacks. This situation is filled with high stakes, serious health concerns, and a massive price tag that puts everything on the line this season. You do not want to miss the details on why this newcomer is suddenly the most important player on our defense. Subscribe now to stay updated daily. The Carolina Panthers made a definitive move to address their most glaring defensive deficiency by signing Jaelan Phillips to a massive 4-year, $120 million contract. This decision signals a clear organizational priority, acquiring a high-level edge rusher to fix a pass rush that finished dead last in the NFL last season. With a pressure rate of just 21.4%, the Panthers struggled to disrupt opposing quarterbacks regardless of the schemes implemented by Ejiro Evero. By investing heavily in Jaelan Phillips, the team is banking on his proven ability to generate consistent pressure, which has been a staple of his professional career thus far. While the sack totals have not always been high, his presence on the field was shown to elevate the defensive unit significantly during his time with the Philadelphia Eagles. The financial commitment reflects the urgency felt by the front office, as they bypass the uncertainty of the mid-first round draft prospects to secure a veteran who can contribute immediately. This is not just a standard acquisition, it is a tactical shift in how the defense intends to operate. As the highest-paid player on the entire roster, Jaelan Phillips enters the facility with immense expectations to revitalize a front seven that was desperate for a catalyst. The team is not merely hoping for improvement. They are demanding a transformation in defensive efficiency. For a franchise that understands the necessity of controlling the line of scrimmage, this signing is the most significant development of the current year. The fanbase is well aware of the challenges faced last season, and the arrival of Jaelan Phillips is the primary response to those struggles. It is time to keep pounding and see if this major investment pays off. Why does this matter right now for the Carolina Panthers? The acquisition of Jaelan Phillips is critical because the defense essentially lacked a legitimate threat off the edge throughout the previous campaign. When a defensive unit fails to generate pressure at the frequency seen last year, every other aspect of the coverage suffers. By bringing in a player like Jaelan Phillips, the Panthers are attempting to create a ripple effect across the entire roster. His ability to collapse the pocket is expected to make life significantly easier for key defensive assets like J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson in the secondary. Furthermore, when an edge rusher demands attention from the offensive line, it naturally creates more favorable one-on-one matchups for interior linemen like Derek Brown. The impact of Jaelan Phillips is designed to go beyond his individual statistics. It is about the elevation of the entire defensive group. We have ranked him as the second most important player on the team, highlighting that his success is tethered to the overall defensive performance. If he can force opposing quarterbacks into hurried decisions, the secondary will have more chances to capitalize on turnovers, which provides the offense, led by Bryce Young, with better field position. The health concerns surrounding the player remain a valid point of discussion, but the team has clearly decided that the potential upside outweighs the inherent risks. By securing such an impactful piece, the Panthers are forcing opponents to adjust their blocking schemes, which changes the dynamic of how the unit plays against both the run and the pass. This is a strategic move to ensure the defense can finally dictate terms to opponents on every single down. Analyzing the expectations placed upon Jaelan Phillips requires looking at the specific metrics of his previous tenure. During his stint with the Philadelphia Eagles, he recorded only 2 sacks, yet the team's defense performed at a noticeably higher level when he was active. This context is essential for understanding why the Panthers committed $120 million to his services. The organization is betting that his pressure frequency will open doors for younger talent, like Nick Scorton, who will now have more opportunities to get home to the quarterback. The ripple effect is clear. If Jaelan Phillips does his job, then his teammates benefit from the increased chaos in the backfield. If he can maintain his health and stay on the field, the entire defensive structure should see a marked improvement compared to the stagnant results of last year. The concern regarding his sack numbers is noted, but the primary goal is to disrupt the timing of opposing passing attacks. If the quarterback is forced to throw early or tuck the ball, the secondary will be in a position to thrive. The investment into Jaelan Phillips is essentially a bet on his gravitational pull as a defender. He does not need to record double-digit sacks to be considered a worthwhile addition, provided his presence allows the collective defense to move up the league rankings in pressure rates. The front office has essentially identified him as the missing piece to unlock the potential of the existing roster. While the financial burden is high, the necessity for a dominant edge presence was undeniable. The team has placed him at the heart of their defensive plans, and his performance will dictate whether this bold move is remembered as the turning point for the franchise's defensive identity. The focus on Jaelan Phillips also highlights his role as a connector for the entire roster. While Bryce Young remains a central figure, the importance of Jaelan Phillips is arguably just as significant for the team's overall competitiveness in 2026. If the defense can secure more stops and provide the offense with more possessions, the entire team dynamic shifts positively. The pressure he brings is expected to be a force multiplier for the entire front seven. Every member of the defense, from the secondary to the linebackers, relies on the defensive line's ability to create havoc. With his arrival, players like Derek Brown will no longer be forced to carry the load alone. The collaboration between the new acquisition and the existing veterans will be the primary storyline as the season progresses. The Panthers are looking for a complete turnaround, and they have placed their faith in his specific skill set to lead that charge. The reliance on him is absolute. The coaching staff will count on him to set the tone during every defensive series. This is a high-stakes scenario where the success of the $120 million deal will be measured by the win-loss column and the efficiency of the defense against high-powered offenses. The transition for Jaelan Phillips from the Philadelphia Eagles to Carolina is a significant career pivot, and he must adapt quickly to the expectations set by his new contract. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely to see how he manages the workload and the pressure to produce from day one. He is not just an edge rusher. He is the designated leader of a defensive evolution that the team desperately needed to initiate this offseason to remain competitive in the league. Looking at the road ahead, the success of the Carolina Panthers in the coming season is now inextricably linked to the performance of Jaelan Phillips. As the highest-paid player on the roster, the spotlight will be on him during every snap, especially when the team faces elite offensive lines. The risk is evident, as his injury history is a variable that the team will have to manage throughout the year. However, the potential reward is a defense that can finally pressure opposing quarterbacks consistently, which is a fundamental requirement for success in today's game. The organization has taken a calculated risk by prioritizing his specific talent over other options available during the draft and free agency. Now, the burden of performance shifts to the player and the coaching staff to maximize his output within the defensive scheme. If the plan works as intended, the defense will find its rhythm, and the team will avoid the repeated frustrations of the previous season. The reliance on Jaelan Phillips to anchor the defense provides a clear focal point for all observers. We will continue to follow his progress closely as he integrates into the team and takes on this pivotal role. The Panthers are counting on him to provide the edge they have been missing, and the entire fan base is watching to see how this significant investment translates onto the field. As we track this development and its impact on the roster, we invite you to subscribe to the channel to ensure you stay updated with every move the team makes throughout the remainder of the 2026 season. We are dedicated to providing the most detailed analysis of the team as they continue to keep pounding and strive for better results.